back and ask their leaders whether they can accept our proposals.
And what would you say to sort of Zito Hua and Albert Ho and the guys in the Democratic Party who are adamant that this is a bad idea?
Because they don't want to sacrifice. Very simple. You have to sacrifice for it. Because not only the money, not only the resources, but your relationship with the SAR government and the central government. Because this is really a battle with the Chinese government. You know very well that the Chinese government would not accept any referendum. If you remember the time when Taiwan had a referendum, they fiercely attacked the Taiwanese people. So that's why I don't think the Democratic Party has any guts to face the central government about the de facto referendum.
Yeah, and it seems to be pretty effective because in the past week or two, some pretty senior officials within the Beijing government have been sort of up in arms about this plan, about the de facto referendum, which shows in some ways it's quite effective. What's the tactic?
I welcome it. I welcome it. Anyway, when I heard the Chinese government had a press release on last Friday, right? Last Friday, attacking the de facto referendum, saying that this is challenging the basic laws, something like that. I think this is good. I didn't say that this is a referendum, but the Chinese government said this is a referendum.
And you know, it was on CCTV, broadcast to the whole China, and saying that this is a referendum.
This is a referendum.
I mean, that's interesting.
So there is a Cantonese saying, very common now, is it increased the level.
Yeah, sure.
This increased our level. The SAR government was very clever. They say this is just a by-election.
They are doing the propaganda for us.
And we say this is a de facto referendum. And the Chinese government increased our level to referendum. Then that's good.
That's good. That's good for you guys, isn't it?
You know, one interesting thing is that they've been taken off the de facto terms. The words de facto in Chinese. And it's just called 5-district referendum.
Okay.
Thank you for the promotion anyway. It's a really good advertisement from the Chinese government.
That's right. Yeah. You're right. And I saw a couple of days ago, read in the paper that you went to the city. Is it called the City Forum?
Yes.
So
in the Victoria Park.
Right. And there's an interesting photo of you in the paper I'm looking at, of you having a little exchange of views with what they call them, the uncles or
uncles of Victoria Park.
The uncles of Victoria Park, who are regular attendees of this City Forum and so on. And you were on there to give LST's sort of view on what was happening to the referendum. Is that right?
Yeah, because one of the speakers is called Maria Tam Wei Ji. She said this is against the sovereignty of the central government. I said sovereignty is rested in the powers of the people. Okay, and that uncle in the Victorian Park just picked up the phone and said, you said this kind of saying, what I said, is against one country, two systems. You only care about two systems. How about one country? Okay. And then I suddenly dropped in and I said, Uncle, I propose to you, I submitted to you that after 7 million Hong Kong people vote in the referendum, okay, let your 1.3 billion Chinese people, let our 1.3 billion Chinese people vote. Would you accept it? I accept it. If I lose it, I never talk about democracy anymore. At least in 2010, that year. Okay? And that uncle sit down.
That shut him up.
Yes, shut it up. Okay? I believe that one country is bigger than two systems, right? The bigger China is bigger than Hong Kong. Of course, we have to respect the wills of the 1.3 billion Chinese people. I accept it. This is democracy. Would the Chinese government let those people to vote? To have a plebiscite? I don't think so. Because if the communist China let 1.3 billion people to vote, that means the downfall of the Communist Party in China.
Sure. I want to move on and ask you a bit more about the LSD election that's happening at the on the 31st of January, and I encourage all listeners or members of LSD to come along and bring a friend along and come along and vote. Because it's going to be, totally democratic.
Yeah. Direct election.
Direct elections. And are you able to tell me, have you officially, how does it work, the procedure and so on? Have you officially put your name forward yet, or does
Not yet.
Does it happen on the day?
The deadline will be tomorrow.
Oh, is it tomorrow? Is it?
I have to submit the forms,
Okay.
the election forms, to the secretariat.
Right. Okay.
And let them verify whether we are valid.
Right. And so then we'll know. Has it been? There's going to be one or two others who it looks like who might go forward. Or is it? Have you heard?
Up to now, I know that I'm the only cabinet to run for the election.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see quite how it plays out. I mean, what would you say to listeners who are thinking of coming along and who whether to vote for you or not? What would you say to them?
I would say again that I would do what I believe.
Yeah.
I will stick to the policies of the LSD because we believe two major things. First, to care for interests of the lower class people. Second, we believe that without struggle, without change. And we will continue this policy stance during my term if I were elected.
And in some ways, I would say whoever's going to be the next chairman of LSD, in some ways, it's not an easy situation to be in, because obviously, there's a danger that you're going to be attacked by sort of the Democratic Party and the Civic Party. They'll say, oh, he's far too, he's too radical. Yeah. And the old granddads in Beijing, they'll be saying, oh, he's a terrorist, probably. That's what.
Not so serious.
But that's what they called Nelson Mandela. You never forget. That in their minds, they would try to say, he's they would say members of LSD are far too radical. Even though it's totally non-violent, they would still label people as radical or revolutionaries or whatever it is.
But I don't care the views of the Chinese government at all.
But the second half of my question was, but on the other side, there is within LSD, an element who feels they want to see a leader who's